Hi, this is John Doe, aka Frags with the DNB Academy, and this is the sound we gotta be doing today. So yeah, let's flip the screen and get into Serum. Right, so on oscillator A, we're gonna go into our analog shapes and we're gonna select analog beta syn. That's all we need for this one. We're gonna set the random phase all the way down to 0. And then on the wavetable position, we keep it as it is. And then it's all gonna be about this little thing here on the warp. So if I bring this down to -3, we should already hear a little bit of bass. Right, but it's just a sub, nothing else in it, and it's just really bland. But if we go into our warping mode here and select distortion, and then we add the tube one, we can already kind of like start distorting our main oscillator, and that it's gonna work on our favor like quite well, right? So let's start bringing this up like all the way up to 100, so we can have this. It already sounds like super distorted without actually distorting the whole patch. Then we're gonna turn on our oscillator B, and on this one, we're gonna leave it at the default shapes because what we want is a saw wave actually. So if we leave it like this is what we're gonna get. Like, right, we're gonna leave the random phase 100 and we're gonna give it like 3 voices here. But we don't need it. We don't wanna hear it because our main goal with this oscillator is to get the trigger for our FM. So we're gonna set this one to FM from B, right? So we're gonna pick up the signal from that one. You see, start to get this really cool effect. And let's just turn on the portamento settings and the voicing settings so we can already hear and see where we're going, right? But we can even make this better by adding the new filter option on our warping mode here. So we can roll off some of those lower detuned frequencies. It's gonna help us to have a little bit more cohesiveness later down the road. All right, so now that we got this, we need to do a couple more things here within the patch itself before going into the processing. And the first one is adding a little bit of noise, but we want something a little bit wider. So we're gonna go into our Serum 2 noises and choose the white noise stereo. And you see, right now it's gonna be a little bit like, you see it's just a bit too much, but wait a minute, we're gonna process this and then we're gonna turn on our filter, and that's where things gonna start to make more sense, all right? So before going to our filtering, we're gonna go to our effects and we're gonna just slightly beef this up because that's when the filter is gonna make more sense, as soon as we have more content here. So first thing, bit more distortion. It's never enough in this sort of sounds. So for this one, we're gonna go with the hard clip, which is aggressive enough. Then we can start, you know, like the noise starts to make more sense, but still it's quite loud. At least for now. We're gonna modulate it and automate it later, so yeah, it's all good. Then on the EQ, we're gonna add a cool notch filter here, just to clean the sound around the mid-range frequencies. Nice, and then we're gonna add a compressor at the end of the chain in multiband mode, so we can start beefing up like these frequencies in a compressed manner. And we're already maximizing our sound, look. It's getting there. So now, let's go back to our oscillator tab. And now, that's when things are gonna start to make more sense to you guys, all right? So first things first, let's turn on filter 1 here, and we're gonna assign just the oscillator A in this case. We're gonna keep the noise out of it for now. And we're gonna go into our miscellaneous here and choose the comms, right? That's the filter we're gonna go with at this point. So the spot we're gonna choose this at, it's kind of like important for the sound, for the movement we're gonna give it. You see, it's a really cool and interesting part there, but we don't want to keep it like always there, you know? So for that, we need to create a bit of movement, like a sort of like stabby movement to our sound. So we're going to choose this LFO1 into envelope mode. We're going to create like a super standard, like stabby shape. We're going to assign this to the cutoff. We're going to put it into envelope mode because we just want this to be triggered like once. You see what I mean? Now it starts to get that like really cool feeling into it. And then we can just adjust the FM. Right, cool. And even the damp here. This is good for now. Then we're gonna assign this also to the distortion, all right? So we're gonna go to our effects and we're gonna set this to our drive. So that first hit is kind of like really cool. And then just to wrap up this LFO1 assignment, we're gonna also assign this to our main pitch so we can create this little cool sense of like almost like a kick drum. So that's where the power of the step is going to come from. So we're going to go into our LFOs, LFO1, and we're going to assign this to global main tuning. Make it like 24 here, 24%. See, let's tweak this a bit. It's up to you here, but something like this should be cool. Now we can actually tweak the part where we're going to begin with our filter. Somewhere around here, it makes sense to me. Nice. Now let's play a little bit with the detune. Nice. Got best filter as well. Whoa, getting there. So now let's go back to our effects. Because this way, now that we have access to pretty much the full sound, we can go back to our compressor here and, for instance, add a little bit of a chorus to wind up the sound a little bit more, or even an hyper dimension, just like before the distortion. We can bring down the hyper. We just want to add a little bit of the dimension here. And now we can increase our noise and actually assign LFO1 to the level. You see, now we have this. So it's a matter of just nailing that really specific spot, and then we got this really cool. If you want to play this more stabby, just remove the voicing and the portamento. So yeah, this is it guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!